When now infamous YouTuber Omi Hellcat uploaded his first video titled Payday Reloaded Construction, he wrapped it up with a profound and insightful message, telling his viewers to always live their lives the way they want. After all, because when you mess it up, it's over. Looking back at it, it's pretty ironic, because him making his YouTube channel was probably his own mess up that took him to federal prison. He didn't have a very hard time finding success on YouTube. His very first video racked up 60,000 views in the first 3 days. In the video, we saw Omi showing off his lavish lifestyle, which included a mansion, long driveway, and over a dozen cars. He talked about getting rich from his entrepreneurial endeavors. He even managed to include 2 of the nightclubs he owns in the same video. Omi soon became famous for uploading vlogs that started with motivational messages about things like life and hard work. You know the sort. He'd make sure to include scenes of himself buying expensive things and working on his different endeavors in the middle too. What made him so successful was that he seemed more relatable than your average narcissistic rich person. Like, he genuinely seemed nice. His channel grew fast, and by mid-2019 he had 300k subscribers. But every time he was asked about how he made his empire, he gave really shady answers. One time he claimed to be an app developer, and of course spending all of his time showing off to hundreds of thousands of fans online was bound to get him noticed by the authorities. On November 1st, the FBI got a search warrant and raided his home. This case file shows 88 lines of personal property that the federal government seized from Omi. Over the next couple of months, the FBI confiscated $5,875,000 US, 58 vehicles, which included some pretty impressive cars. There was a 2020 Lamborghini Huracan, a 2019 Lamborghini Aventador, and a 2019 Audi A7. And it didn't end there. They also took 21 properties. Damn! Omi should have stayed quiet, but as soon as this happened, he went live on YouTube to tell his fans about it. At first, he thought the feds were after him for tax evasion, which was partially true, and Omi insisted that he was innocent. But this was about more than just taxes. Omi thought he discovered a loophole in US copyright law and could just exploit it. At this point in the story, you're probably confused as to how this guy even got into the situation in the first place. This is where Omi decided to come clean about where his fortune came from. He'd been operating a large-scale Internet Protocol Television, or IPTV, piracy scheme. This is where you fraudulently get cable television accounts and then resell copyrighted content to thousands of their own subscribers who could then stream or play back content. This piracy scheme all started on Kodi. Kodi is pretty much a media player that works on everything. In short, it's mostly known for people who watch pirated content. Most people use Kodi on Amazon Fire Sticks. Using Kodi wasn't easy though, and when Omi saw this, he saw a way to make a lot of money fast. He'd buy the boxes from Amazon already preloaded and then resell accounts for about $120 to $150 to his customers, which is the equivalent of giving customers cable TV for one payment. And it wasn't exactly kept a secret either. On his channel, he told his subscribers all about it. He'd been selling thousands of flipped Fire Sticks, and that gave him enough money to move on to his next plan, which made him even more rich. His next piracy venture, which would make him tens of millions of dollars. Okay, so now Omi's name is pretty well known in the online piracy community. His alias was Target in 1080p. His YouTube channel was originally named Target in 1080p and featured videos of him discussing things in the IPTV space. One developer named Dexter took a liking to him. They teamed up, and Omi was his investor. They got together and made an app for Kodi called Gears TV, which was loosely inspired on the video game Gears of War. Gears TV was Omi's all-in-one digital content package, which included a lot of hit shows, even Game of Thrones, all of the major networks like ABC, ESPN and Fox, channels that are only shown in the UK and Canada, and even more packages like NFL Sunday Ticket. Gears TV provided all of that content in 1080p resolution for as low as $15 per month. Now, to put that into perspective on why it's so successful, a service like this would cost nearly 4 times as much if you purchased it legally. So now the question is, how did he pull it off? Well, basically he'd buy cable subscriptions from Comcast, Spectrum, Verizon, DirecTV and Frontier Communications. These cable subscriptions came with a box of encrypted media. Omi purchased the decoders and he had the content redistributed over the internet to his subscribers. He went from making $5,000 per week to $400,000 per week in just a few months. He and Dexter made like $30 million in subscriber fees. Omi was still living where he'd always lived in Philly at this point, and nobody knew how rich he was. Gears TV was operating pretty well now, and it wasn't a small-scale business anymore. They had employees, and the government was watching. As they grew, the monthly price increased, which angered their customers, as their $15 per month turned into $20, then $30, then $40. Omi had gotten greedy and his prices were now drawing a little too near to actual cable. But Omi then sold his app to a private investment company in 2018 for a whopping $40 million. He then built a new and improved app called Reloaded TV. This was better than Gears and quickly became one of the biggest apps in the IPTV space because of its great user interface and reliability. It's unclear exactly what happened to Reloaded TV, but it seems like it wasn't around for very long. Would he have gotten away with it if not for his channel? Well, a YouTube channel promoting their own brand and attaching a face to the whole thing just made it that much easier to identify the perpetrator. Showing off his wealth could have pissed off authorities, and yeah, it's possible they wanted to put him in his place a little bit. If you saw his vlogs, you probably saw one where Omi found out that federal agents boarded his flight to the Dominican Republic to stop him leaving the country, but his audience didn't know why the FBI was after him. After the raid, he was back on his grind, trying to make new businesses while the feds were watching him. He then started a printing company or merch brand under the name Reloaded. He made different clothes here. Later he claimed he was broke, but let's be real, he probably wasn't. Once again, the FBI came knocking. They accused him of money laundering and not paying his taxes since 2016. Omi argued that his accountant had messed up, but he was ready to pay, up until someone stole his tax money. He posted a video claiming he got robbed, but some folks thought it was a ploy to dodge the IRS. Why steal Xboxes when you can have $1 million in cash, right? He dropped this video on the same day he released his own sneakers, the Omi Zeros, a Nike Jordan lookalike with a lightning bolt. Trouble escalated in 2021 when he faced criminal charges for copyright infringement, wire fraud, and laundering money. The feds raided his house again, and he made the news. Omi initially thought he could outsmart the system, but eventually he pleaded guilty in 2022, realizing that ignorance isn't a legal excuse. His life took a hit, and he barely posted YouTube videos anymore. It seemed like the whole ordeal got to him, but he decided to own up to his actions and take responsibility. It was a wild ride for Omi, from selling clothes to legal battles and sneaker releases, but he faced the music in the end. Now he's going to serve time in prison. 3 US government attorneys say that Omar should receive 15 years and 8 months in prison for crimes related to his pirate IPTV service Gears TV. So he spent all of his time grinding to get his business affairs in order so his family could survive while he was away. But on March 3rd, in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, Judge Harvey Bartle III instead decided that 66 months would be enough punishment to Omar, and send a direct message to any of his followers considering the same type of behaviour. On top of the 5.5 years in prison, he had to forfeit all of his properties, of course, and pay some seriously big fines. But surprisingly, Omar was happy with this outcome, saying it could have gone worse. Omi's always had supporters. I mean, he technically stole from the rich and gave to the people. It was essentially a victimless crime. But do you think Omi will learn from his mistakes? What do you think he'll do when he's released from prison? Leave a comment down below, let us know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more and give this video a thumbs up. We'll see you in the next one.